enhance customer loyalty. Before we begin, here are a few reminders for you. Please stay until the end of the session to fill out the exit ticket for attendance and certification purposes. The exit ticket will be disclosed at the end of the seminar. On-site participants should have completed the entry ticket at the registration desk. And this session offers benefits such as SAT points and e-certificates for eligible participants. We encourage everyone to be attentive and actively participate during this session. Your engagement will enrich the discussion and help you get the most out of this seminar. So without any further delay, I will now hand over the session to our moderator, Dr. Angtiasti. Doctor, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's seminar on sustainable marketing, engaging customer in the digital economy. It is my honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Professor Rian Beizizi. So, Professor Beizizi is currently the Vice President for Research at Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University in Japan, which is known as one of the most international universities in the country. With over 20 years of experience as a professor and extensive background in higher education leadership, research method, and marketing. Professor Beizizi has worked with international businesses and government organizations, including the EU Commission and major companies like Daimler AG. His research interests lie in the agile product development, international marketing, and product innovation. His academic journey has taken him from Germany to places across the globe as a guest lecturer at various universities in Asia, including Malaysia, Indonesia, and Hong Kong. So today, Professor Beizizi will share his insights on sustainable marketing and how businesses can engage customers effectively in the digital economy. Well, before we begin, some of you probably already familiar with me, but let me just introduce myself briefly. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Angtiasti Jiwasidi. You can call me Angti. And I'm a lecturer and the subject content coordinator for the Global Business Marketing in BINUS Business School. And I will be moderating this seminar today, and I look forward for an engaging and insightful discussion with Professor Rian Beizizi. Now, please join me in welcoming Professor Rian Beizizi.
Hey, thank you very much. Okay, selamat siang, welcome everybody. I'm happy to be here. And okay, I want to talk about something different. I will tell you the title soon. Before, I want to introduce a little bit my university. So since 12 years, I work in Japan, as you can see. Yeah. And this is a university located on a hilltop overlooking a nice bay. So it's a very touristic area, very nice. And the Asia Pacific University in BINUS, we have an exchange agreement. So you're invited to spend one semester at our university. And also we have a master program, so you can also come to our campus for master. It's all in English, but our students also learn Japanese so that they can get a job in Japan. The town is called Beppu. It's very well known in Japan. These are not factories, so this is not the smoke screens from the factories. These are hot springs that are steaming, right? So it's a very unique atmosphere here. These are all hotels, and these kind of hot spring pools are steaming, and it creates a very unique atmosphere. So many tourists come to this place of Japan for recreational purposes. Doesn't work. I cannot, can you get me back online here? I think, yeah. So, okay. Food, yeah. So if you're interested in food, this is a great place to eat, yeah. Steam, cooked food, and now it's a great place to eat. However, our cafeteria is not that good, yeah. So this food you will find not in our cafeteria. You have to go to our downtown area. All right, so what I want to talk about is the following question. In a connected digital world, do we still need to advertise via mass media, right? Or would this be in the future obsolete, mass marketing? Because when I was your age, and oopsie, I was studying in university, we have been told marketing is mostly kind of a mass media activity, attention seeking, interrupting people, whatever they do with certain commercial messages. And then you're using a one-way message, you know, and persuasion techniques to bring people to buy your products. So that's the main marketing activity. And of course, it's not ideal. Another marketing technique is we are all connected with our family members and our friends. We have a small network of friends. And when people are happy with something, when people are satisfied, then they recommend it to their friends and their family members. And companies can use this. This is called word of mouth, WOM, word of mouth. And so please recommend this to your friends, right? So these are the two marketing aspects that we have learned to use. Now, the world has changed dramatically. We are all now participants in much larger digital networks, in social networks, and we don't have any more like 10 friends. We have 1,000 friends, right? And so people also become more active, not only passive, not only watching TV, but also kind of uploading their own content on social networks. And the information that you get from the social network is not only limited to your friends and to your closest acquaintances, but you get kind of information from all over the world, from people who are connected in these social networks. And the way this information is selected, recommended to you, is based on algorithms in TikTok and so on. So you get a lot more information from strangers. Stranger to stranger connections are now much more strong in terms of what information you get about products and brands that are. So this is a great statistic here that shows what happened in the last 10 years. The black curve here is the time we spent on traditional media. So when I was young, we had TV, we watched TV, we listened to the radio, and we reading newspapers and magazines. The time we spent with these media goes down. And the time we spend on digital media, phones and laptops and all kinds of computer access points, this is the blue curve here, goes up. And just about 2017, 2018, the majority is now digital. Right? So this is a change that just happens right now. It's a very interesting time for you to live in because there is a once in 100 years change in media. Newspapers, nobody reads newspapers anymore, radio and so on. This is all out and we're all kind of using our handphones, right? And when my children, they sit in front of the TV, I turn on the TV, they're not looking at the TV anymore. They have their iPad and they have their digital devices and they get their information from there, YouTube and so on. It's much more interesting than the old media. Of course, for marketing, this is a huge change And the question is, what does it mean? What are the consequences of this? What are you watching? You're watching Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, now TikTok. And this is not updated, but doesn't matter. You see here, this came out of nowhere about 10 years ago. Before, it was nothing. And now suddenly, bang, right? In a couple of years, you have a huge penetration. Billions of people suddenly use digital media. Didn't happen 10 years ago. It just happened in the last years. And this is kind of really dramatic change for marketers, for the whole profession. They need to react very quickly to this. What does that mean? We are now connected in global digital networks, and you have 1,000 friends, right? And every of your friend has another 1,000 friends, and they have another 1,000 friends. So basically, everybody in the world is connected very closely with electronic connections that are very easy to use, and there's a lot of information transferred on this. So we're all embedded in a big network. This has consequences, right? What are the consequences? So in terms of marketing, we have new marketing approaches, or relatively new marketing approaches. For example, when we are all embedded in global networks, we can do search marketing. We don't have to do advertisement anymore. Why? Because people can find us. If you have a problem, you can search and you find the company, the brand, the one who provides a solution. That's called search marketing. No need for advertisement anymore. Not exactly new. Yellow pages were always supposed to do that, right? But it's kind of unhandy and it's not very efficient. The internet is much more efficient. Search marketing, what else? We have relationship marketing, one-to-one relationships. Again, I don't need to do any more mass marketing. I can communicate directly to each customer all over the world. And may it be thousands or millions of people, I can personalize my message because I have a lot of information about their personal preferences and their interests, and I can cater to each customer separately with a personalized message. Relationship marketing, that's why they all want your email, and so on, or you log in somewhere, they want your email so that they can send you some information. Again, relationship marketing is not a totally new approach. There was always a means to address customers with their names or with some kind of personalized messages. But now it's much more marketing. With content marketing, companies, brands, they don't do the advertisement anymore. They produce content that is usable, something that has already a value by itself, where they can demonstrate their competencies, they can show that they are kind of providing real good value to their customers. So kind of apps and so on, they have like Canva, they have a training session to be more creative. Or you have a cat food company, they're not just pitching their products, but they upload videos, they make videos about cat topics. For example, this is a video about a sanctuary for cats that have problems, like blind cats or cats that are missing some limbs. And so for cat lovers, that's interesting to watch. And the kind of the message comes with it that this cat food company is great. I don't want to show this because of time reasons. Let's move on. This is an app made by a toilet paper company, a very large company, make toilet paper. I said, what can we do? So they use a map, Google Maps or Apple Maps and so on, and they pinpoint public toilets there, right? And then they're asking their users to rate these public toilets, how clean they are, how hygienic, yeah? so that users can, or in their town, right? And then you need to use a public toilet, then you can see where they are and whether, you should go there, right? And of course, there's the brand name there. So that's content marketing, useful information, useful value instead of advertisement. Again, content marketing, not something totally new, happened already before 100 years ago. This tractor company, John Deere, used to send a magazine to farmers, the furrow, with there's sort of advertisement there, but there are also interesting information about farming techniques and kind of the latest information for farmers, right? That's kind of a content marketing that they already done years ago. And then last but not least, we have social media marketing. So we have these new marketing approaches. Social media marketing is the latest. There's a lot of social media. Don't have to explain this to you because you're the experts, social media. There are different categories of social networks, and we're members of several of them. These social media are booming, as I said. This is the latest information here, just from this year. Basically, everybody in the world is kind of participating in this social media in some way or the other. Still a little bit of growth rate, so we reach probably in a couple of years total penetration that everybody in the world is connected to these networks. We spend quite a lot of time on these networks, as you all know, on average 2 hours, 20 minutes a day. And basically, we're talking about 90% population, world population is using social media, right? Totally new world, right? You live in a totally new world compared to my world. I didn't have internet when I was young, and I didn't have social media. So different planet, okay? As I said, it's not passive, it's active. That's the estimation, 1% of the total population are creators. They create content, they upload content on social media. 1% sounds low, but if you think about 5 billion people in social media, 1% is how much? 1% of 5 billion is 50 million. 50 million creators, uploading information on the website is used by other people, 50 million people. And how do you call them? You call them influencers, right? So that's an interesting force that can be used in the marketing profession. For example, here, in TikTok, this lady uploaded a video, self-made video. She invented very simple kind of thing, a draper that she can drape her back a van and so create some kind of private area there. When you go to a beach or something, you can place your clothes there in the back of your van. So it's very simple, and she just uploaded that on TikTok, and you can buy this. Now TikTok allows you to buy stuff right away, and she builds her company. She's an entrepreneur. She sells this
for anybody who needs to change out in public but wants to do so in privacy.
Advertisement spending. She reaches 1 billion population worldwide. Right? It's amazing. It's like it was very expensive before. You don't need this anymore. You can just use TikTok with self-made videos and show what you.
Boyfriends and girlfriends are going to come and go, but this.
No, it's just a short. You can just go. Anyways, we can continue.
It's for life. Cause you only need the light when it's burning low.
And you can set this up very quickly. Okay, social media. So again, all reasons for substituting mass advertisement, mass media advertisement. Now I mentioned influencers, 50 million creative people on the networks. Now what happens? Brands, companies become part of these social networks, and they integrate themselves into a network of people where people interact with each other. Not anymore a stage where companies speak to an anonymous audience, but they talk to people who are already talking to each other. So traditionally here on the left side, I'm giving a speech and I can say, buy my products because of this and this reason. But now we enter the social media, and what happens, similar to you enter a party, right? You're invited to a party or not invited to a party, a party crasher, and then you go to this party and you have a certain message, right? You want to be known. What do? What you don't do is you say to them, stop talking and listening to me. I have something to tell you, right? Bad move, right? That doesn't make you attractive, right? No, what you do is you try to integrate you in the conversation. People having conversations, right? And you try to kind of blend in. And what you could do is, for example, you can ask somebody who kind of knows a lot of people, can you introduce me, please, to other people, right? Can you introduce me to the people? And then, okay, you have a kind of a way to enter the conversation, and then you can kind of like squeeze in your message. And of course, you cannot talk to everybody at the party because you don't have so much time. What you want is you want to have conversations with people, and then they are so impressed that they go to other people and tell them about you, right? So you want to go viral, right? You want to talk to some people who are more influential, and they go to other people and say, oh, I've heard about this person. I just talked to this person, and he's so interesting, and he has so many things to say, and I want to tell you about it, right? And so they do your bidding. They do your work by spreading the news that you are a great personal brand or whatever, right? You're going viral, right? By these multipliers who are communicating your message. Another way of going viral is you're kind of successful with the small crowd, and then there's an algorithm and it detects, oh, there's somebody interesting in the at the party, right? And he's kind of really, people like to listen to him, right? And then this algorithm is identifying them and say, okay, I take this information and I recommend it to millions and millions of other people that this is interesting. You should watch this, right? That's what TikTok does. If you look at your TikTok stream, recommended for you are things that the algorithm, and it's a secret what it is, has detected as being interesting, right? And then they push the message. And that's a great way. It's free advertisement, right? Don't have to pay anything for this. That's what we want, right? We want to kind of peddle something, and then TikTok is doing your job, right? And is promoting, pushing it to millions and millions of other people. That's what happens. And the example for a viral message, this is a very famous example. If you don't know, Chewbacca Mask Lady, she did a live video on Facebook a couple of years ago, and she went to a department store and she bought a mask, Chewbacca mask, and she was so kind of excited about it. She went to her car and then she made this live video, and she was laughing all the time about this mask, right? And so it went seen by her friends and so on. And I don't want to show it here, but here's a kind of a graph of what happened. She posted that on May 19th, and there's a little bit of kind of uptick, and people who watched this, they shared it with their friends, and then the friends shared it with their friends, and then it went viral. And suddenly thousands of people watched this video, and she became kind of famous. not only she became famous, so she has kind of like the most shared video ever, and like millions of people, and then she was invited to Facebook headquarters, and he became kind of famous. She mentioned in her video the department store name, Kohl's, right? And then people get kind of interested in the department store, and then they looked up the department store account, and kind of that spiked as well. So this department store called Kohl's, not so exciting, it's kind of boring department store. And here on May 20th, something happens, right? And bang, everybody's going to this account and are checking out the department store. Where can I buy this mask, right? And so they picked up on it, and I said, "Oh, great! Great advertisement for us." And they followed up on this with some kind of messages that relate to this viral video. So great examples how this works, how we can go viral without any advertisement. Of course, influencers, they help us. And what is the big influencers? The biggest influencers are celebrities, singers and actors and sports stars. Nothing new, right? Celebrities on social media are pitching some brands here. Nothing new. Happened in my area when I was young. 1984, Michael Jordan was a young basketball player. And if you watch the movie Air, the movie Air is a very good movie. It tells you the story of 1984, what happens. Michael Jordan didn't want to go to Nike, he wanted to go to Adidas, but his mother persuaded him, you should sign this contract with Nike. At that time, Nike was not the hippest brand, right? It was kind of like a small company in America, not the best, or kind of not the most famous brand. You know what happened? After Michael Jordan signed the contract, it became a huge success, and Nike became kind of the biggest, hippest sportswear brand in the world. And it's because of that celebrity endorsement. He became a celebrity and so on, and because of that endorsement. If we go further in the history, it becomes kind of boring now. 18th century, already we have endorsements, celebrity endorsements, influences. The biggest influencer at the time was the Queen of England, right? She was a global superstar in the 18th century. And this gentleman here on the left side, a potter, he makes pottery, plates, cups in England, in Stoke. He invents marketing. He invents branding because he put his name on the pot. Nobody's done this. He put his name on the plates. He said, these are special plates because they're made from Wedgwood. This big brand still exists. You can still buy Wedgwood plates, expensive. And then he says, okay, not enough. I want endorsement. So he goes to the Queen and he sells the Queen some plates and so on, and very nice designed. And then the Queen allows him to use her name as a reference. So you can call this Queenswear, right? And to this day, you can buy Queenswear from Wedgwood. So, and marketing was born. Now, of course, we're talking about social media. Everything is much more crazy than at that time. Wedgwood also invented direct marketing, showrooming, and many other marketing strategies. This is all from the 18th century, believe it or not. So nothing new. However, celebrities, okay, we know. What changed is that normal people become influencers. You all can become influencers. Maybe some of you are already an influencer in a small group of followers, right? It's crazy, but it's true. So, for example, here, one influencer, a normal woman, not who doesn't do acting or anything, Theresa van Dam, who's a stylist, and she's doing all kinds of TikTok videos or Instagram, whatever. And you can see here 5 million followers. So 5 million people all over the world watch her videos. She becomes kind of influential. If she puts some kind of brand in these videos, then 5 million people watch it, and maybe some of them are buying the product, right? So yeah, that's a good way to promote your products, stylish products. So we have different kinds of influencers. We have the celebrities with millions and millions of followers. And then we have the macro influencers and the micro influencers and the nano influencers. Right? Goes all the way down. If you have only a handful of followers, you are a nano influencer, up to 1,000 followers. And then the micro influencer up to 100,000 followers. Anybody here influencer? No? How many followers? So if you have like 650 followers, you're a nano influencer, yeah? And the good news is you can make money. Because actually the small influencers who have few followers, few in terms of like thousands only, right? They are actually the most influential within their follower group. They have more engagement, they have more kind of loyal followers than the celebrities. This means that they're actually quite attractive for marketers to target, right? So if you start small, you already can make a business out of your influencer profession. Here's an example here of, they made these statistics here, right? And so this first person here, Ludovica Valli, she has 1.4 million followers, and engagement rate means there's some kind of response, right? A like, or they're buying some product. 64,000 engagements, so 64,000 of 4 million, that's less than 5%, right? Engagement rate. And then the lowest follower influencer here is this guy here. He has a followership of 20,000, but among these 20,000, he has an engagement of 4,500. So 4,500 who react to a post when you only have 20,000 followers means you have an engagement rate of more than 25%, almost 25%. Right? That's great, right? 25% of your followers are doing something, right, that you want them to do. So these kind of small influencers, nano influencers, are actually very influential. Also, we need to know more about influencers. What are influencers? Why are they so influential compared to advertisement? Advertisement is not very high in engagement. Yeah? 1 million people watch it, and only a small percentage, less than 1%, are actually buying the product. Here with influential, we have a much bigger impact. Why? We have not social relationships, we have parasocial relationships. Why? Because as an influencer, you don't really know all your followers. You don't know these thousands, millions of people personally. But all your followers, they have the illusion that the influencer is part of their social network, is a friend, is an acquaintance. It's an illusion, and that's here an illusion of a personal relationship, imaginary intimacy and psychological connections compared to celebrities, right? Whereas celebrities, of course, they don't know me, who I am. But I have this guy, his influencer on TikTok, and he has only like 1,000 followers, and I'm one of them, right? And I have a social relationship with them. And in research, we call this parasocial relationships. That makes the influencers so influential when they say something that it means, my friend recommended that, right? My friend means the influencer recommended that, similar to when my friend recommends me something. Hi, everybody's like on his phones. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we do now. Okay. What else can we say about influencers? Authenticity is the word. You need to have authenticity if you want to be an influencer. You need to come across as genuine, as honest, as independent. This is not, yeah. Who is that? Kendall Jenner or something? Yeah, so supposed to be a influence. It's like a Pepsi ad that backfired because unauthentic, yeah, commercial message. Another unauthentic failure here. This influencer, stern looking in the camera, received an email from a marketing agency. And the marketing agency said, please post this caption today at 4 o'clock. And then the caption says, keeping up with the summer workout routine with my morning boot, whatever, protein shake. And this influencer was very busy, right? And he copies the whole email into his Instagram, right? Together with this instruction. And then his followers say, hello, hello. You're getting paid here. Very unauthentic. Sorry. Unfollow, right? So unauthentic behavior, commercial messages don't work, right? Not good. This is a good example for authentic behavior. This is the Instagram of Pink. Pink is a famous singer, right? And she went to Germany and she had a drink apparently. And then she posted the photo of the drink. It's an alcoholic beverage. And I will not read the post because it has a lot of curse words in it. The F word and SOB and whatnot all, right? But this came across very authentic, very generous. Why? Because no marketer would ever write these curse words in the message, right? So the fact that she uses curse words means, oh, that is not a marketing message. She really means it. And that's the way you create authenticity, by doing something that marketers would not do. Of course, the result was that millions of people wanted to buy this alcoholic beverage. I need to have that, right? Because Pink recommends this. It's actually a small company in Germany, and they were overwhelmed with millions of orders from around the world, right? Only one post, right? Don't do advertisement, yeah? Just have Pink post about your product. So influencers need authenticity. They need to be independent. They need to do their own thing. And that's, of course, a problem for marketers because they don't want that. No persuasion attempts. Just say, this is not commercial, don't do anything, but this is a great product. Okay, this is how influencers work. Now we can use this. Influencer marketing, we can use influencers. How? So what happens is, there are new companies called multi-channel marketing companies. And they contact a lot of influencers, creators, 50 million creators worldwide. I set up a marketing company. I contact them and I say, would you work together with me? I can bring you money in form of endorsement contracts with brands, right? So the brands, they don't have to go to all these influencers. They go to these multi-channel marketing companies and they say, I need 100 influencers, and I want to work with them using my product. So the brands go to the MCNs. The MCNs select creators that they think have a good fit, have some kind of authenticity related to your product, and then they go on social media and they help the creators to create content, and then they push it on social media. That's the new reality in the marketing world. Yeah? And if you are if you're kind of a creative person and you want to be an influencer, you can go to these multi-channel marketing companies and can say, can you help me? I want to be an influencer. Can you train me? Can you explain it to me? And they'll do this if they see the potential in you. That's how it works nowadays. For example, a chocolate company here from Switzerland shows 280 influencers, nano influencers, micro influencers, and they told them, okay, we give you free samples and we give you kind of $50 or something. And please post a picture with my chocolate product. And they did this. And what happens is that they got a lot of engagement here, 800 posts, 435,000 interactions, kind of likes or something. And they reached a reach of 13 million population. So 13 million population, very similar to mass advertisement. If you do in TV or you have a clip in the TV ad, you reach the same number, millions, 10 millions, and so on. Big magazines cost you a lot of money. This doesn't cost much. 280 influencers, they get $50 each, much cheaper than having an advertisement ad in a big magazine. So very successful. In the old times, a couple of years ago, influencers got mostly free samples. Now they get money. And how much do they get? They get, if you're a mega influencer, you have many millions of followers, you get thousands of dollars. So you can really make a good living with this. If you are a nano micro influencer, you get about $50, $100 max for each post. So you have to do a lot of posts. If you do every day a post, $50, good for you. I mean, in America, I don't know how the rates are here in Indonesia right now. The global influencer marketing volume is 2022, it was $16 billion. Of course, that's much less than the advertisement budget. Advertisement budget is, I think, 600 billion. But it's growing, and the advertisement budget is going down, and influencer marketing is going up. So the question is, will that substitute our mass market advertisement? Okay, another advantage of this kind of social network marketing is that you can monitor this much better. You can, every day, you can see what's going on. You can see the engagement rate. You can see how many orders come in because of that post. And so it's very good for evaluation of your marketing activities compared to a TV ad and so on, where it's very difficult to evaluate what is the effect of it. All right, so last but not least, I want to close with this case here. Daniel Wellington. Anybody know Daniel Wellington? Yeah, a watch brand created by this gentleman here. Philip Tysander, a Swedish national, 2011. He was a relatively young man. And he says, let's create a new watch brand. Kind of a crazy idea because we have already thousands of watch brands. He creates a watch brand, makes it very simple, manufactured in China, drop shipping. You can order, they are shipping it directly from China to your customers. You don't have to take care of anything, no supply chain and so on. He's not using any kind of advertisement. He's only using influencers. He's contacting influencers and says, I sent you a watch for free and you can keep the watch. But if you keep the watch, please upload one photo of you with the watch in your Instagram or Facebook, whatever you have, right? Only a photo, nothing else, right? I don't need anything. I give you a promo code so your followers can get the watch, order the watch with some discount, right? So for example, this lady here with the kind of steel gray hair, micro-influencer, yeah, not very influential, but she kind of, I love the watch, Daniel Wellington, and you can use my discount code for a 50% off. So he's contacting a lot of influencers and many of them does similar things. And then what happens? This watch brand become absolutely hip. Many people buy it. and he makes 100 millions or so of revenues. And that's a crazy story because this would never have been predicted. Watch, a new watch, this is not a special watch. This is a normal watch, right? Made in China, just quartz watch. But it's a simple design. It's something that's maybe resonates with people. And he creates a new brand with very few costs. A new brand, right? It's crazy because a new brand, creating a new brand costs millions and millions of dollars, right? But now he does it just by himself. So that's a crazy story. And now the question is, the big question is that sustainable? That's where the sustainability comes in, yeah? But we're not talking about environment, talking about sustainable marketing. Do we still need mass advertisement? Can we do this for all products, for all brands? Everybody's connected. You just use the global networks and you do all this search marketing, content marketing, relationship marketing, social media marketing, influencer marketing. No spending, no cost, avoiding all the costs for advertising. Do you think so? Who thinks no? Anybody says, no, we still need advertisement. Here in Indonesia, see a lot of advertisement, TV advertisement, and so on. Will we get to a point where we won't have any advertisement anymore? Yes or no? Who's for yes? No advertisement in the future. No advertisement. Yes advertisement. Okay, skeptical, yeah? You want advertisement? You need advertisement? Why do we need advertisement? Why do we need advertisement? The purpose of advertisement, believe it or not, is not to inform people about products. What is the real purpose of advertisement? What's the purpose of advertisement? There's a case here. There's a diaper company, and they produce great diapers, baby diapers. Yeah? And they say, we want to save money. We want to have a good price, low price. We don't do any advertisement, right? Because it costs a lot of money. Okay, they have a problem. Few people know them, right? They do a survey, 50% awareness. So 50% don't know about them. Okay, so I say, good, let's make advertisement for a limited time. For 6 months, they start a very intensive advertisement campaign to inform people about their product. And after 6 months, they do the survey again, and it's 90% awareness now. Everybody knows them, right? Okay, everybody knows them, so we don't need advertisement anymore. So they stopped the advertisement. What happened? They stopped the advertisement. What happened? You don't have babies? Can you imagine? Yeah? Our mothers and fathers, right? They buy this product and then they say, hey, they don't advertise anymore. There's something wrong with that product, right? They stop advertisement. It's kind of suspicious, right? Before, a lot of advertisement, and now no advertisement at all anymore, right? And kind of baby and so on, I want to give my baby the best products, and I get a little bit suspicious about this, right? And I'm switching back to the brand that is advertised. Gives me more confidence, right? It's kind of crazy, right? Advertisement assures people about the commitment of companies. It has nothing to do with information. Yeah? Advertisement is something personal, special, that is not similar to what we just said about marketing, search marketing, relationship marketing, content marketing. It's different. So Daniel Wellington had a huge increase in revenues from 2011, bang, right? $300 million. And then something happens, 2018, 19, 20, hey, goes downhill, right? Bang, 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 bang. Shrinking. Why? Why would the influencers continue to peddle this brand, right? They did it already. Right? Every brand that doesn't continue to communicate to people deteriorates. That's the law. They brought in new, so not only the revenues, but also the profits turn into loss. Unsustainable, it's loss making. Daniel Wellington's loss making. What did they do? They bring in new management. And what does the management do? What did the management do? Advertisement. Yeah. Billboards. Because they know young people don't watch TV anymore, so don't go to the billboard, they cannot avoid it, right? They walk past and say, oh, look at this big billboard here. Oh, look, it's my watch brand. And then what do you feel when you pass by and it's the big billboard with your watch brand? You feel good about yourself, right? Look, it's my watch. And a celebrity is using it. That's good, huh? And I went to a mall here, Central Park Mall. And what did I see? In the middle of the mall, there's Daniel Wellington pop-up store, right? It's in the middle of the mall, centrally located. This is advertisement. It's not about selling the watch at that place. They don't care. What they want is people walking by and saying, oh, look, it's Daniel Wellington. It is a big brand, apparently, because it has its own store. This is a big brand. It gives me reassurance that this is still a hip brand. This is still the brand that expresses my personality. This is the brand that showcases who I am. Yeah? So people need advertisement as a reassurance, because we are all uncertain about ourselves. We need these brands to express ourselves. This is a energy drink, yeah, and a farmer here works on the field. And if you drink this energy drink, yeah, you will be refreshed and you can continue working on the field. Who cares? This is advertisement. This is branding. It expresses not a functional benefit. Nobody wants to jump down the cliff, okay? But that's what we want for ourselves as a lifestyle. We want to be daring, right? We want to be adventurous. And this is the brand for us. It's a lifestyle brand. It expresses what I long for. I don't want to sit in the office, but I do. I drink Red Bull and then imagine that I'm a cool character who is doing all these extreme stuff, right? It's not about the clothes. The clothes are all the same, right? It's about emotion, what essence the brand expresses. It tells a story about what it is, what the people who wear the brands, what they are about, right? How they want to be looked at. And for this, unfortunately, we need mass media marketing. Yeah, influence is not enough. Storytelling. Yeah, I tell you about the brand, what it stands for. Marketing needs space to tell the story from their perspective. Influencers are independent. They're authentic. Brands need to also talk to the audience themselves. And the boys, if you have a girlfriend or you have a wife, and the wife and the girlfriend says, do you still love me? And then the boy says, why are you asking this? I told you last year that I love you, right? Don't you remember? Boys, they need reassurance. Tell them every day you still love them, right? And that's what brands and marketing does. Thank you very much for your attention. Check.
Okay, it's working now. Thank you so much, Professor Rian. Thank you for the interesting presentation. And we have heard the very insightful things from the shift from the traditional to the more digital kinds of marketing. And we talked about various types of digital media, algorithm. And there's even this notion of parasocial relationship, which I think is very trendy in the digital marketing recently. And up to now, we have seen that we still need traditional advertisement. So before I would like to give the mic to the students, anyone has any questions? So I want you to think about what kind of question you want to ask, right? So I would like to ask you first, would that be
Any question?
ask you any question? Any question about Japan, about the food? Any question? But if I can, is it okay if I start with one question in particular? Yeah. So you have talked about this influencer culture almost like, and there's a lot of interesting things about the dynamic of influencer here that we've seen in social media. So do you think there's any issues, or is there anything that we should be a bit more cautious maybe within this kind of emerging influencer culture that you have observed?
So everything happens very fast, right? And it's an experiment. Like always, we don't have really time to plan ahead. And we just have to live with this, what happens. Personally, as I presented that, I'm kind of optimistic because I was not only talking about influencers, but also about creators, right? So it's sometimes also called democratization of creativeness and innovators and people. So if you look at the past, I think there are more negatives in the past than in this influencer topic in the future. Big marketing agencies monopolized the way we see the world, the messages that we get in TV. So we were sitting in front of TV, and what the messages we get are from very few people, from the big channels, from the big companies, Procter & Gamble, Unilever. And this is all very psychologically refined, manipulative messages that give you a bad conscience about yourself, and you have to use this and these products because of this and this reasons. So throughout the last 50 years, we have a lot of criticism towards marketing messages and marketing agencies and so on, all this manipulation. And with the democratization of the messaging, I think it's a better situation, and it's you decide what you want to watch. Yeah, you are under control of the information that you get. Of course, there's algorithm, and there's also a lot of potential. Now they talk about China manipulating TikTok. Yeah. I think this is easy to solve this problem, right? This is not so difficult because you can kind of open the books and showing the algorithm to a committee and so on, that like the CIA can check the algorithm. I don't think there's any problem there. But the opportunities that you have to create brands yourself is unbelievable. Like Philip Tysander. You can, whatever idea you have, you can bring into the social media network and see what happens, right? If people like it, if there are a lot of resonance, or if you are very idiosyncratic and nobody likes what you do. But it's easy to find out now, right? So I think this is a great development. It's participative. Everybody can participate. There's no entry fee. It's basically for free. You can set up your own website. You can post your own videos. I mean, it's very for our generation, right? It's very unusual that everything is free. We used to pay for products, and now all the social media is free. There are premium packages, there are subscription, but relatively low priced. So good for you, good for you. You don't have to, you're not disadvantaged in Indonesia because you have the same access like anybody else in the world. And that would be my answer to it.
Yeah, that's a very insightful and also interesting perspective, because we also noticed that in the past the media is dominated by very few players, and those are the players that are very powerful and they own money and they own media. Whatever it is that they communicate, there are only few things they want to communicate, and it's usually for their own interest. And now you guys can hear from each other, and you guys can be much more influential, and you can say what you think, you can have your opinion, and you can be as powerful as the large media. So I do feel like that's a very interesting angle on how we see the more recent, more digital way of marketing nowadays. So okay, so now I would like to hear from our students. Okay, so if you have any questions or if you have any opinions on digital marketing or content creation or influencer, if you have any questions or if you have any opinion that you would like to hear from us about, anyone wants to raise their hand? Okay.
That's all right. Good afternoon, Professor Ryan. So I have a question. Oh, my name is Gilang, and I have a question on more onto how exactly sustainable marketing is in the green economy. So recently, I've studied about how since you have experience in Japan and Indonesia, perhaps you might be familiar with the Asian Development Bank trying to transition from a linear economy to a circular economy, which focuses on green economy, obviously. But how do you think can this sustainable digital marketing play a part for governments to incentivize companies or corporations or even the public opinion so that their market can be ready for even more sustainable marketing and even more environmentally friendly objectives? Thank you.
Okay, so of course this is all very complicated, and everybody's thinking about. Personally, I give you my personal opinion about this. Based on, I work for the government, and I analyzed a lot of technology, how technology came into being and was successful. What are we today have successful? Governments have very little to do with that. And I don't think that the governments will ever be or should be able to shape what the society is doing. It's not the government's job. It can only be based on consumer decisions or decisions of the population, every decision, and then you have an emergent system. So marketing should not be educational. That's when I teach marketing. My credo is don't be educational. Don't try to teach. Don't try to explain people how they should behaving, what they should do. And you should do this and you should do that and you should do that. This doesn't work in a society that is not authoritarian. It can only be based on your convictions. And what marketing does, it picks up on the conviction, picks up on what people want to do, want to achieve, and then it tries to channel how companies are positioning themselves as solving these kind of problems or solving these kinds of achievements that people want to achieve. So I give you an example. Now, many governments, they want to disallow combustion engines, and they want to force people to buy electrical cars, right? And I think this is a terrible idea, right? Because governments are always prone to try to decide for the population what the population should do. But they don't know better. Nobody knows in the future what is the best technology. This is only solved, or this is only decided by the competition between technologies. They need to battle it out, whether it's EV or whether it's a combustion engine or whether it's hydrogen economy that is economically better, and we need to have the most economical path forward. Nobody knows this because the world is not deterministic. We haven't solved all the technical problems and the problems in the details, how people use technology. This needs to be solved in interaction with the companies competing with different technologies and consumers trying out different technologies. And then we'll see what happens in the future, what will come out as a best solution. So marketing has a role to play in messaging, or in giving people the options of what is there, what is the pros and what's the cons, and so on. And then the people need to decide this on their own, right? So I don't think that the government or the role of the government is very limited in the sense of deciding which technologies to be used. The government has one obligation, and this economically or theoretically, it's called external effects. Yeah? So if, for example, polluters, companies who are polluting the air and the waters and so on, these needs to be regulated because external effects, external negative effects are difficult to solve with purely market mechanisms. There needs to be a price on pollution. There needs to be a price on CO2. And the government can implement this, right? These regulations and these prices on pollutions to reduce the external effects. But apart from that, I think the government should be very reluctant to push certain agendas. This needs to be in a free society where we have the right to choose. The society will survive or will go down depending on what are your convictions, right? That's why in universities, of course, we do education. We want to educate you for more sustainable thinking. But it won't be implemented top down. It will only be implemented bottom up. You are the ones who implement the sustainable society, not the government itself. And this is how it should. It's bottom up, and every decision you make a lot of decisions every day. You need information about what is negative effects, what's positive effects, and this information needs to be provided. And the internet is a great place to provide this information, right? If you have a lot of ways to identify the information that you need to make an informed decision. It's a lot better than before, where we had more monopolized information channels. But I'm very optimistic about the future. Also when it comes to green and sustainability, because power to the people, that is the factor that will change. Because eventually these big companies and so on, they need to sell to you, right? They need to react to what you want, not the other way around, right? People should not change whatever the government wants them to do. Does it give you one answer? It's not maybe the only answer that people can give, but yeah, you're the ones, you're the actors, you're the drivers, you're in the driving seat.
Thank you so much for the question and for the great insight. Are there any other questions? Yeah.
Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Grace. So, as you've mentioned before, that influencer tend to have like more impactful for the brand. I want to ask, like for micro influencer, they tend to have a low customer trust because, what is more important than customer reach is the customer trust. And for the new brand, and I've heard the statement before that it's better to endorse to a lot of micro influencer than to one macro influencer. But why do you think that micro influencer have more impactful for the brand?
That's a good question. So that's the research field of influencer marketing to figure out exactly what makes people influential. Then you could say, okay, I talked about authenticity. When you have micro-influencer, they come across as more genuine, but they come also across as more informed about a very particular area. So why are these micro-influencers? Because they have an area of what they talk about that doesn't have many interested people. Not everybody is interested in, right? That's the thing with the internet. The internet gives a forum for people who are interested in a very, very narrow topic. The nerds, some kind of nerd person for one particular thing. And he knows everything about that, right? For example, he knows everybody about James Bond, right? There's a person who posts videos and he knows everybody about James Bond. And actually, James Bond, if you read the novels, there's a lot of brands that James Bond uses in the novels, right? And so he's kind of like relating all these brands to James Bond. I said, what would James Bond use and so on? And he has only a couple of thousand followers, because he's not kind of a celebrity who has appeal to a lot of topics, right? If you have millions and millions of followers, you need to vary, right? You need to, like Mr. Beast, you need to do a lot of things, right? A lot of different things, a big variety. But if you do a lot of things, then you don't really have the credibility to know everything about a lot, right? And so we think that the micro-influencers are very good because they are trusted in a very, very narrow field where they talk about. And they have a smaller group of people who are interested in that particular field. And so the trick is for brands to find the right match with the influencers that relate to your product. And so because there are so many influencers, so if you think about 50 million creatives, there needs to be some kind of mechanism how to select, how to match them. And then if you have 200, 300 influencers, it's the same as if you have one big celebrity, right? And I find this concept very appealing. I'm not a fan of celebrities. I'm not a fan of celebrity cult. I think it goes, that's here one of the, you wanted to have some concerns. So one of the concerns, of course, is the celebrity cult. I think that's a terrible thing, that people become so upset about celebrities when they make something wrong. They're just humans, right? They also make mistakes. And then to hunt them down on the street, I think that's terrible. And then also these influencers who come with their little camera and then they hunt down these celebrities. They put the camera in their face when they do private things and so on. I think that's a terrible habit. We should still keep a little bit integrity and a little bit of humanity. So the good news is that these micro influencers are really a great addition to our endorsement realm, and I think the fact that they are very trusted and very genuine and very honest coming across is a good thing to draw a little bit the fire away from these from this craziness of celebrities. Do you have Are you following influencers, or do you have any reason why you trust influencers? The content, right? So you look at, is it interesting? Is it insightful? Right. And so micro-influencers have all often more detailed information, more insight into a very narrow matter, and that makes them powerful. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you for the question. Anyone else has any questions? You can just raise your hand or, yeah.
Good afternoon, Professor Ryan. My name is Jennifer. May I ask your opinion about how do we become influencer that makes people want to recommend us? Like how do we become it? And does only by doing personal branding solve this? Thank you.
Yeah. How to become influencer? The honest answer is I don't know. It's a mystery, right? It's a mystery to me. How to become a superstar? This is also a mystery. Some people say, "Oh, you're promoted by a big studio or by big influential people." The girlfriend of a big studio owner, a big director, and so on. She gets pushed and so on. So there's a lot of kind of bad stories about this. I talked about 50 million creatives. If you're a creative person, try it out. And then you'll see if you had the hang of it or not, right? If you can talk to people that people like to listen to you, right? If 50 million people try, then you have a couple of million people who are succeeding, right? The unlikeliest people are succeeding, that you would never have thought of, but they get the hang of it. I follow some influencers, and they're very odd people, right? They're not very attractive for TV or for the traditional media, right? They're a little bit awkward, but it makes them interesting. It makes them kind of weird, and they have a lot of interesting things to say. And they also don't listen to conventions. They don't talk like a conventional person would talk. Pink, right? I give you this example with the curse words, right? There are people who criticize others without any shame, right? And then it makes it interesting because it's different. So it's often about, is it different? Is it something that resonates with people that they never see in other places where it's censored? If you have a TV show, right, they tell you what you can say, what you can't say. The lawyers tell you, oh, you cannot say this and this and this. And there's an interesting story about Mr. Beast now going on, right? When Mr. Beast started, he didn't care. He did whatever he wanted, right? He had no lawyers and he just did it, right? And then he became so big that people start to sue him. He has employees and they start to sue him for harassment, right? And now he has to hire all these lawyers, and the lawyer says, yeah, you cannot say this, right? Because you have so much money. Of course they sue you for millions of dollars, right? And so that's an interesting thing, right? That when you are small, you are under the radar. You can do what you want, right? I mean, TikTok and so on, they have no profanity and so on. They have a kind of policy, what you can do, what you can do. But you can bring in a lot of content that is weird and that is strange and that is dangerous in terms of people suing you. Once you become big, then the problems start, right? Then all the lawyers come in and they you have to change. So that's the disadvantage of being a big star then. But how do you start, right? You start by being different and just be yourself and be honest, right?
Be authentic.
Oh, yeah, the big word authentic.
Big
Yeah,
word,
of course, that will always
authentic.
be authentic. But there's no guarantee for being an influencer. I think many people try it, and many people are. It's a sim like Spotify, right? You can upload your music, right? Doesn't mean that people listen to it. There's only 1% of all the musicians who make a living out of it. There's only 1% of all writers who make a living out of it. It's a hard job. Creative people, it's difficult to make a living out of it. Yeah. Most people, 99% of creative people need a job other than being creative. So my advice is go to university, study something that allows you to get a job that is paying. And then you have the safety of that. And then you do as a side hustle your content creation. Yeah. And then you try out different things. And if that works, then you can switch over. But don't say, "Oh, I don't need the studying. I'm the content creator, and I'm so creative. I don't need a job." Right? That's very dangerous. If you're a writer, if you're a musician, don't do it. Get a job. Become an accountant, or whatever. Accountants are well paid. I tell you that. Every company loves good accountants, right? It's not the job with the most passion, yeah, but it's a good salary. It's a safe job if you correct and you're not making mistakes. But you always have that, and then you can do all your side hustles. Yeah? That's my advice.
Okay, thank you for the great insight and the question also. And okay, so now it's time to wrap up. Okay, so now it's time for us to, unfortunately, end our international lecture for today. And I just want to say thank you very much for Professor Rian for coming here and giving this guest lecture. And I will hand over the mic back to our MC for the closing of guest lecture today. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ang Tiasi, for leading the discussion. And I also like to thank Professor Rian BZZ for sharing your valuable perspective. To all participants, thank you for being part of today's seminar. We hope you found the session enriching and insightful. Before we conclude, I would like to invite everyone together for a group photo to commemorate this event. So everyone, please proceed to the front of the room.
You tell me where to. I do whatever you want. Well,
Oh yeah, this is all.
facing where? Here? Yeah. And we will put the picture from here, so you could from here. You can sit here, get to the front. Sit. You may sit again. Remember, I'm going to be coming. Okay. Yeah. Everybody on our line, the camera. 1, 2, 3. Once again, give it us 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Finally, please remember to fill in the exit ticket before leaving the seminar hall. It has been a pleasure hosting you today. Thank you again for your participation, and I wish you all a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Oh enggak, buat teman-teman yang dari kelas saya, mungkin boleh nanti ada absen tadi di belakang ya, absen manualnya. Buat backup, tolong students of my class, can you please go back there and just sign the form manually too as a backup ya. Jangan lupa buat backup aja supaya teman-teman juga punya daftar hadirnya yang di kertas. Oke? Terima kasih banyak semuanya. Mudah-mudahan bermanfaat. Sampai ketemu minggu depan ya. Kalau yang kelas saya. Makasih semuanya. Thank you so much, Professor Rian.
Yang udah ngisi exit ticket bisa meninggalkan tadi yang kelasnya Bu Angti.